The flood was coming. They couldn't stop it. A group of people sprinted towards a cave in the mountains to hide away. They took cover and waited. They peeked out the cave and saw that the world has been wiped out. The surface of the water was over halfway up the mountain. They were trapped. They decided to explore the depths of the cave. They came across a room. It had ancient writings in the all. The group then carved an image of a woman and a man standing in front of a UFO onto it. The group started to bow and worship the image.
Abula Fainizo. Abula Fainizo. Abula Fainizo.
It was hot. The earth was hot, almost unbearable for any human to live in. But no human did live there. It was a time where the planet was ruled by large woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers. Long before the Ice Age, but long after the extinction of the dinosaur. An ape was roaming the area. He hopped his way towards a mountainous area, hoping to find something to eat. As he continued to search through the desert mountain, he discovered a cave. He got excited. He entered the cave. It was dark, but the curious ape just kept moving forward. He tripped and fell through a hole, tumbling his way down the cave, deeper and deeper into the abyss. He got back on his feet, and staring back at him was this magical green light. It attracted him. A whisper began to creep from it. He moved closer and closer to it. Suddenly, the light was spreading. It got brighter and brighter. Then it became fire and consumed the chimpanzee. The dark was nearing, and a group of chimpanzees were scattering around the mountain looking for their lost friend. One of the apes let out a screech, and his fellow apes followed his noise. Once they all gathered around the screeching ape, they saw something that they never seen before. It was their friend, coming out of the cave. Except he wasn't exactly crawling like an ape. He was upward. He didn't have fur. The group of chimpanzees looked back at their friend in bewilderment, while their once fellow ape looked at them in superiority. The chimps all began screeching. The once ape, now human, raised his hand, and the rest of the chimps were now silent.
Follow me, my friends. I have something to show you.
He pointed into the direction of the cave.
Get back! Get back! Davis, get on the turret and take out those Chinese helicopters.
Private Davis started firing towards the helicopters, but it was already taken down from the Indian troops on the battlefield.
Sir, we should get out of here.
You're not in charge, Davis.
Sir, the other soldiers are killing each other already. We can win this battle without wasting a bullet or any men. We have to move out and let them kill each other for us.
Fuck it. You're right. Okay, men, pull out.
The U.S. Army slowly retreated from the battlefield and returned to base, leaving the other countries to continue fighting in the mountains of Turkey.
Davis, that was good thinking.
Thank you, sir.
What the hell are we doing? Why did we leave the battlefield?
We're going back. We're just going to wait until the battle is near over, and whoever is remaining will just kill off. Davis suggested it.
Nolan Davis? Nolan, who made you the commander?
It was the right call. Our satellites will spy for us.
What about the other satellites? The Indians, Chinese, Russians, Japanese. They all got satellites too. Shit, they're probably having a satellite battle right now, considering how important this area is.
What is hidden in these mountains, that the whole world is at war just to get a piece of it?
Not only is this a world war, but probably the only world war that happened in a snap of a finger.
At least they're not lying about this war like the previous ones.
What do you mean?
When I was in Indonesia, they told us we were liberating the Indonesians from a Muslim invasion. Turns out they just wanted the trading routes there. They started building ports in that country faster than they built oil rigs in Iraq. But this war? They could have mentioned terrorism, dictators, fucking Ebola or whatever. But no. The Secretary of Defense told all of us that we need to occupy the mountains of Turkey for God.
Like the Crusades? I'm not going to lie, I'd rather invade a country for oil and trade routes than for a guy I don't even know exists.
No, that's not what I mean. I ain't talking about because Turkey is a Muslim country and we gotta make it Christian. They were alluding to us becoming gods, and I don't mean like big-time celebrities or nothing. I mean like God is here in these mountains somewhere.
Is he playing hide and go seek? Who's he hiding from?
No, the Secretary of Defense didn't say that God himself is hiding in these woods, but
But what?
that its power is in these woods.
The room was silent.
What? His power?
If you were living in the 1800s and you were the president of the US, would you invade Turkey if you found out that the formula to build the atom bomb is in these woods? How about this? Let's say you were a soldier in Carthage and Roman Empire is attacking you and you have no chance of winning and you found out that you can find a long-range missiles in England or somewhere. Would you invade it? Would you invade it?
I invade whoever they tell me to.
But you would. Because it's better you have it than your enemies. And with that much power that you now control that no one else on this planet controls. Everyone else is just a regular human, even you. But with missiles in 300 BC, you are a god.
You think the power of God is hidden here somewhere?
I think we are God. And whatever is hidden in these mountains is just something that reveals it. We're going to wait here until the battle sorts itself out. We can't wait long. If one side wins the battle, they can start digging before we get there. In the meantime, get set up and prepare for any oncoming attacks. There's thousands of foreign bases in this country, most of which are right in this area.
Abula Fenizo, Abula Fenizo.
John!
John was still shaking uncontrollably.
I'm calling 911.
No!
He's having a seizure.
Abula Fenizo, Abu.
John stopped moving.
Is he dead?
Uncle John, what the hell?
Marika grabbed John and tried to drag him out of the room.
What are you doing?
I'm taking him to the hospital.
We are being hunted by the government right now. I don't know if you remember or not, but we didn't park in a handicap spot or jaywalked or something. No, we killed 2 government agents.
Well, technically I didn't. You did.
Yeah, and you're an accomplice.
Not if I say you kidnapped me.
Jesus Christ, maybe your memory is that bad. I'm the one that saved you from the government. Last I checked, they were in your house, threatening to kill you and your uncle. So sure, go ahead and tell them everything. These motherfuckers have killed presidents and civil rights leaders for far less. I'm sure they would preserve you a...
All right, I get your point. But what are we going to do? I can't let him just die.
You're right. We have to keep him alive. He knows what happened to Patrick. He knows what went down in Egypt.
Yeah, and he's my uncle.
Right, that too.
What do you mean, that too?
Well, shit, he's not my uncle.
Okay, well, you can be a little more sympathetic.
You know what? I think I probably should have waited until after the guy shot you in the face to rescue your uncle.
What is that supposed to?
Go.
John was now awake.
Uncle John, it's me. It's your niece.
Go.
You want me to go? You want me to get out of here?
Someone must be close. Maybe the SWAT team are here. We might have to leave.
John was now pointing to the wall. Marika and Greg looked to the direction he was pointing towards. It was the world map. John was circling his index finger, signaling out a specific country. It was Egypt. John turned his head to Greg.
Go.
The room was filled with cigar smoke as the men were all gathered around.
What's the status?
On what?
On my chicken sandwich that I ordered on DoorDash. What do you think? I'm talking about turkey.
You want a turkey sandwich? You just said you wanted chicken.
He means the country Turkey. It's at a stalemate. I'm afraid the mountain areas are now a no-man's land situation. Everybody has their drones, satellites, snipers, motors, you name it. They have it pointed in that direction, watching everyone's step.
Do we have anybody watching those who are watching us?
We got our surveillance ready?
Ready?
How much?
All of it?
Take out half of it.
Why would we do that?
We won't occupy the territory now. It's impossible. Everyone who enters the area will be killed by the opposition.
I see. Everyone is too focused on occupying the area rather than focused on taking out its enemy.
Everyone is spending all this money on spy equipment and not enough on ammunition.
With all these countries having their best shit here in Turkey, they got nothing left behind in their own countries. We start putting our focus there. Eventually, they'll either force themselves into those caves and get themselves killed, or retreat back and stop the bleeding back home. We have enough men to get that done. And then we take the area.
What about the other 2? Patrick and that woman that's following him around.
They're probably dead.
We thought they were dead last time. They have to be dead this time then. I mean, with all those missile strikes, I guarantee once we start digging for the caves, we'll find the bodies.
They're not dead.
What makes you so confident?
They supposed to die in Egypt. Everyone did. John's testimony was correct because the wreckage was that devastating. None of the soldiers survived. Only those 2. There's something about them. Or maybe something was given to them from the spacecraft.
Well, John was there too. Whatever they received, he damn sure didn't get.
Maybe. Or maybe he wasn't meant to experience what he did, but those two were.
What are we saying? They're chosen. Is there a hieroglyphs in the pyramids that prophesies them as the Messiah?
We'll find them either way.
No, we won't. We don't need them anymore, wherever they might be.
There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. It wasn't dark, because dark has a color. This had no color. No molecules, no particles, no waves, nothing. The same laws that applied to our universe didn't apply here. It was a different universe, with different laws, with a different system, incomprehensible to the human mind. Yet Patrick and Sarah were experiencing it. This nothingness. It was painful. It was too much. It was so intense. It felt as though the only thing that they had consciousness of is their spirit. Because all senses were gone. Seeing, feeling, hearing. They've transformed into something that no man can fathom. It was too much for Sarah and Patrick. It had to stop. But how could they stop it? They were the equivalent of bacteria suddenly experiencing human consciousness at the highest level. They were nothing, which meant they were everything, which meant that they were... Then it stopped. It was dark. Dark! A color. Something they can comprehend. A door open and a white light shined through. Sarah and Patrick walked through the door. They looked at each other. They were in regular clothes. It was the same clothes they wore when they met.
I guess you're not ready for that yet.
They both turned their attention to the voice that just spoke those words. They walked towards it. As they got closer, a shadow-like figure was slowly appearing. They got a little closer, and suddenly the shadow figure emerged into two. Once they arrived at it, they realized that it was their own shadows.
It takes a while.
They turned around and saw a man and a woman standing across from them. The woman in front of Sarah and the man in front of Patrick. Then it hit Sarah and Patrick. They realized who they were standing across. It was themselves.
Hello, you finally made it. We've been expecting you.
You want us to go to Egypt?
They want you.
Who does?
The ones.
The what? The ones? Who are the ones?
The ones that talk to me.
Where do we go in Egypt?
They are telling me that, you know.
Me?
Take me to Egypt, and they'll tell me what to do.
Greg, are you sure this is a good idea? I mean, my uncle was just in a mental institution, and now he's going to be our guide.
They're here.
The voices in your head, John?
They're coming right now.
They heard a noise from out in front of the hideout. Greg peeked through the window. There were multiple cars parked with what looked to be a SWAT team sneaking towards their hideout.
We have to go.
Wait, if you leave, they'll see you. Hide.
The SWAT team barged through the hideout. They were ransacking the place, flipping over mattresses, tearing down walls, emptying out every drawer.
They're not here.
How can they not be here? They have an old man in a wheelchair that they've been pushing around. You're telling me that we can't track down a disabled?
Well, sir, if what they are saying is true, then maybe he doesn't need to have legs to outmaneuver us.
It doesn't matter. Search the place. They may have left some clues.
Greg, Marika, and John were beneath the SWAT team in an underground tunnel.
Is it safe yet?
I think so.
Where does this lead to?
I don't know. I never had to use it.
How did you come across this safe house?
Each member of the Capitol has a safe house. But I got a second one just in case the government was after me. We gotta hurry. If they continue their search, it'll be only a matter of time before they find the tunnel.
Private Nolan Davis was sitting in his tent 20 miles from the battlefield.
What do you think is out there? What do you think we're supposed to be looking for?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I want to know.
You don't want to know what you're risking your life for?
What if I find out it was over something stupid? What if it's over spite? What if it's so some guy can get rich? Then I have to deal with the guilt of what I've done, or the anger and rage I'll have towards the people who sent me here. I have to believe it's for something bigger than I am.
They say it's for something that would make whoever obtains it the most powerful nation the world has ever seen.
I was told it was to find a man and a woman.
What?
Our platoon was one of the first called to Turkey. They told us to look for 2 Americans. We got this order from the intelligence agencies.
Why wouldn't the intelligence agencies just get them themselves?
I think they tried but couldn't do it, and then sent in the military.
That doesn't make sense. So there is a man and a woman that the most powerful entity couldn't track them down, that they had to call in the military.
It was probably because the other nations were after them.
The Chinese, Japanese, Russians, Indians are after them too? The world is literally at war again just so they can get a hold of 2 random people?
Well, right now, it sounds like the fighting stopped, and they're just staring at each other, making sure no one makes any sudden moves.
So literally, it's just going to be a stalemate between the nations. It won't last forever.
We could go in there ourselves.
Are you crazy?
When it's dark out, we can sneak into the no man's land and find the area that we're looking for.
And do what?
Just find out what's there. You might not want to find out what's there, but listen, you already know the media is lying to the people when they say that Russia and China invaded Turkey because they're bastards. You admitted it yourself. They told you it was for something bigger than us. Maybe it really is bigger than us, because all we're going to do is just stay here until someone makes a move, which no one will.
You're right. We might as well find out what's there.
Nolan and several other Marines packed up and began to sneak their way into the mountains. Sarah and Patrick were now looking at themselves. They could understand what they were saying even when they weren't saying them. They couldn't differentiate themselves from what was staring at them. They really were the same consciousness.
What is this? What did you mean we weren't ready for that yet?
This is not your world, not your universe. You have entered a portal, not only in a different dimension and universe, but a higher universe, a level above the one in which you've been experiencing.
We wanted to see how well you can handle this different universe, but clearly it was too much. So we created this simple room for you to understand, and have it explained to you to the entities you understand the most. Yourselves. I believe that was explained to you before.
Why are we here? We led you here. We are the higher entities that have been in communication with you, guiding you all the way here to this moment.
What do you want from us?
To continue the cycle, to take our place as higher entities.
We were you, literally you, in the same position you are in now, talking to the same versions of what we are now. We entered the green fire at the portal in the hidden cave the same one you did, and we are going to tell you the same thing that was told to us. You are here to guide yourselves to the same hidden cave.
Why?
So you can move on to the higher realm. Is that where you're going? Correct. Once you take on the task, we will move on to the next universe, the more advanced. You see, this is no different than a game with multiple levels. We are all just trying to move to the next one.
But we can't do it. How? We're here. We can't guide ourselves if we're physically here.
There's no such thing as physically. Perhaps your human brains can't comprehend that. Since you've entered the portal, since I began explaining to you what's going on, thousands of more years have already passed. And then the world will end, and then it'll repeat. And this process goes on forever.
Abulafenizo. Repeat. I thought that it translated to repeat, as in repeat the words. But it actually means repeat, as in repeat, this cycle.
Your world thinks of death as just a place, an afterlife to experience. It's just the next level of existence. And after that existence, you reach the next level of existence. What about the people that die? Are they moving up to the next level? Why do we have to go through this portal?
When you die, you just born again and repeat. The cycle doesn't end until you follow the signs.
We didn't follow any signs. We were literally directed from you guys. Not before Egypt, not before we met at the pyramids.
You had the undeniable feeling that the war in Egypt had to end. You made the decision to visit the high members of the capital, to voice your displeasure, Sarah. You put that presentation together to voice your discovery of not needing Fila for advanced artificial intelligence. Patrick, you made the decision to walk into Sarah's presentation because it interested you. Sarah, you decided to follow Patrick because it interested you.
You both followed the signs that we provided that led to our meeting in Egypt. You followed the opportunities that was given to you. The encounter in Egypt led to us having direct communication with you. Now you guide yourself to this level and you'll move on. So what? We have to wait until we're alive to do this?
You are gods now. Your universe is nothing more than a video game that you control. You can communicate with all beings that haven't been claimed, or you can just go straight to your humans and begin.
What about the wars? What about the destruction that we were supposed to stop?
It's already happened. Hundreds of times. It may seem tragic to you, because the beings in your universe time moves much, much slower. The slower time moves, the more you get attached to everything, because you spend more time together. But you don't get depressed when your favorite tree dies in the wintertime, because you know it's going to come back to life again soon. Your universe, your world, the people, the wars, civilization will die and come back to life so many times it'll mean nothing anymore.
You two have also died many, many times, some happily together of old age. Versions of you have died in Egypt. One time, Sarah actually killed you, Patrick. We definitely screwed that one up. But after many attempts, you succeeded, and now you're here to do our part.
Why us together? Why not just guide us here individually?
You know that answer. We've tried to keep you separated, but it never results in you here. Both of you need each other to complete the task, and you'll need each other to complete the next one.
Greg, Marika were pushing John on his wheelchair through the underground tunnel.
How are we going to get to Egypt? They're probably waiting for us at the airport.
Patrick told me some time ago in confidence about a military base in the outskirts of the city. He said he knew the guy well and would fly him out in case of emergency.
Do you trust him?
Patrick or his guy?
Both.
I got no choice, but I trust Patrick, and if Patrick trusts this guy, then I do too.
Why did Patrick leave to Egypt?
I don't know. They said it was to help fight the war in Egypt, but I knew that wasn't true. That's what I want to ask your uncle, but he's unresponsive. The war's over, and Patrick isn't back, and there has been no reports on him. Patrick probably took the same flight from this secret base that we're going to.
Why do you care what happened in Egypt? If it was just a war, then who cares?
Nothing of it made sense after a while. They said it was to fight back against a tyrannical regime, but they lied. It was clear that they were there for the Phila mineral, but I think that was a lie too.
Meaning the conspiracy of the Phila is false.
I'm saying that I think the government made that conspiracy to cover up another one. The Phila report in Egypt came out almost at the exact same time the U.S. made the biggest ever investment into their space program. That should have gotten more attention, but it was completely buried from the Phila report. And that also brings up another question. If the government doesn't want the public to think that we're in Egypt for the Phila mineral, then why did they push the Phila report before the invasion? They were the ones that were telling everyone that Egypt has an abundance of the most important mineral in the world, and then invades the country not too long later over a totally different reason. It was almost like they wanted the world to think it was about Phila, so they can cover up why they were really there.
And you think it has something to do with space?
I don't know, but something that goes beyond this world.
You think we'll find it in Egypt?
We're only going to Egypt because John wants us to go.
You mean it's what the voices in John's head wants us to go?
Whether it was the voices in John's head or not, he was there. He saw what happened.
They reached the end of the tunnel. There was a ladder leading up to a door in the ceiling. Greg climbed the ladder and peeked his head through the door. Nolan and his fellow Marines were walking through the mountain terrain.
How long do you think until we reach the point?
I don't know. Maybe not for a little while.
I don't hear no fighting.
That's because everybody has just resorted to spying and drones, which we gotta keep an eye out for.
Where were you guys stationed before you got the call?
I was in Jordan.
How about you?
I was in Egypt.
Really? Did you see combat?
Yeah. No. I was stationed near Cairo. I was basically guarding that entire area. Honestly, I don't think I heard a single shot fire my entire time there.
What were you guarding?
No idea. All I know was that the military were sending in the most non-military guys I've seen. Fucking scholars, historians, archaeologists, scientists. They had these high-tech defense weapons and what seemed to be a high-level special forces group. Clearly, they were protecting something.
I thought we pulled out of Egypt.
We did. But a lot of us stayed back. Apparently, the war destroyed a lot of infrastructure, including the pyramids, and that they are going to try and rebuild it. But I didn't see any builders there. Word is that something was buried underneath the pyramids, and they are trying to dig it out but couldn't do it. Could you imagine trying to lift those limestones out?
It's crazy how we can't move those limestones today, but those Egyptians did 2,000 years ago.
The more you know, the more confusing everything is.
It seems like what happened here is even more important than Egypt because they sent every U.S. soldier here. They basically sent the whole army towards this place. No more military bases elsewhere in the world, but here. What could be in these mountains where the U.S. literally gave up position in the most important regions in the world for some useless mountain terrain?
Better question. Why has the entire world sent their whole military to this terrain? Even the closest allies are fighting each other over what's here.
There was noise coming from the sky.
Hold position.
They listened to the sound. It was getting louder and louder.
Drone.
The group hurried and took cover underneath a pack of trees. The drone was hovering just above the soldiers. Nolan couldn't see the drone, but the noise of the machine made it feel like it was only a foot above his head. Then the noise stopped. Nolan slowly peeked his head out and saw the drone flying away.
I think we're clear.
Keep your eyes open. Let's keep moving.
Patrick and Sarah were now just standing in the room. The clones of themselves were gone.
What do we do now?
I guess we have to guide our next selves to here?
That's not. I'm confused. Is something supposed to happen?
Maybe we're supposed to go somewhere.
There is no doors here.
There shouldn't be any doors.
Patrick, I don't think we are in a good place right now. I have a bad feeling.
Marika, Greg, and John touched down in Egypt. The city they landed in looked perfect, as if no war has taken place. They checked in at a small hotel just outside the city center of Cairo.
Do you think the hotel staff alerted the U.S.?
The U.S. invaded here? I don't think they care about helping them out.
Doesn't look like they invaded. Everything looks fine.
Greg approached John.
Okay, John, we're here. What do we do now?
They aren't here.
Who, the voices in your head?
They're not voices. They're real.
Where are they?
Not here. They will be, though.
What are we going to do next?
John sat in silence.
We go to the spot.
What spot?
The pyramids.
There's no way we can go to the pyramids. The U.S. are still rebuilding it. They'll be there.
They're not rebuilding it. They're looking for something, but they can't access it. They don't know where to look. I do, though.
How do you know all this?
They just told me.
Are they here now, Uncle John?
Yes. Would you like to send a message to them?
It was dark. The forest was so condensed that one wrong turn and the Marines would all be going in different directions.
Whose drone do you think that was?
I don't know, probably Chinese.
Why do you think that?
I'm just guessing.
It would be nice to know who's going to kill us before we die. Like they should say hello in their language. Like, konnichiwa, I'm from Japan. Shh.
Yeah, or like an advertisement. Hello. This murder is brought to you by the Indian Army.
There was a noise coming from the forest. It wasn't a drone or gunfire. It was footsteps. The men drew their weapons.
Get on the ground!
Don't shoot, I'm an American.
Why the hell are you in a suit?
I'm an American, I'm a spy.
You work for the intelligence agencies? What are you doing here?
I was here before the war. I was supposed to track down Patrick O'Brien and Sarah Dunn.
They must be the two people we were assigned to look for.
It is. They were here. We had our guns on them. They were about to enter this cave. That's what everyone is looking for. This cave. We were about to follow them inside, but we were ambushed by the other countries.
So they must know where the cave is too.
No, they all died. I was left there. I was the only one alive in that area.
Why didn't you just go in the cave? Why did you come all the way here?
There is something not right there. You shouldn't go.
What do you mean?
Before we were ambushed, they were talking to somebody.
Who?
Nobody.
Somebody called nobody. You're not really helping us out right now.
They were talking to something. It was in there, but we couldn't see them.
It was just in their head.
No, I've seen this before. Guy named John. He used to work for the intelligence agencies. He came back from Egypt and he was fucked up, talking to what he called entities in his head. We all thought he was crazy. But the only ones that saw what he saw in Egypt were those two. They were talking to something that we couldn't see, but you can tell they were there. It wasn't in their head. Something didn't feel right. It felt much more than all of us. That cave must have activated something in them. We can't. We have to get out of here.
Take us there.
No way. I can't do that. There is no way I'm going back there.
We have a medic here with us. He will treat your wounds, but only if you take us to the cave.
Okay, but I warned you. We are entering a place we cannot return from.
We're already there.
The pyramids were a pile of rubble. It was hard to believe that this used to be one of the most strongest and indestructible monuments in the world, now almost turned into nothing, Greg thought. What could be so powerful to turn the Great Pyramids into this? There were workers surrounding the area, all trying to remove the giant limestones with great machinery, but couldn't succeed.
Apparently they've been here for months and haven't made any bit of progress. Not one limestone has been moved.
Where?
John?
Towards the east side?
He must be talking to his visions again.
Where do they want us to go?
Towards the east side of the large pyramid.
How are we going Sneak John in there? He's in a wheelchair.
Walk towards the pyramids. 24 seconds.
What?
24 seconds. Now 20 seconds.
Go towards the pyramids? It's completely surrounded. Screw it. Let's just go. Those visions have brought us here, we might as well finish it.
15 seconds.
Marika and Greg began pushing John towards the wreckage. As they were moving closer to the area, a security guard was looking in the opposite direction of them. It was only a matter of time before he turned around and saw them walking through.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The guard was turning around.
God damn it!
Help!
The crane that was attempting to move the limestones collapsed. Every guard surrounding the area ran towards the crane. The three made it to the east side of the large pyramid.
Okay, what now, John?
John pointed towards a particular limestone. Greg and Marika approached it. It had an image of a river moving towards a bird with a human head, upraised arms, and an ibis.
What the hell is this? How come I've never seen this before?
Stand back.
John closed his eyes. The limestone began to levitate above their heads, revealing the entrance into the pyramids.
How did you...
They did.
The three entered. Despite the wreckage of the pyramids, there was a spiral staircase downwards. On the walls were ancient writings.
How are we going to get John down the stairs?
I'll just carry him.
They made their way to the bottom. It was cold. Greg thought they must have been 500 meters underground. He looked around. The infrastructure wasn't ancient. It was futuristic.
What is this place?
There is no way the Egyptians could have built this.
Who could have then?
Marika, Greg, and John made their way through a hallway until they came to a door. It opened once they approached it. Inside was pure darkness.
I can't see any. Ah!
Marika!
Marika was hanging off a cliff. She climbed her way back on the ledge. Greg grabbed a flashlight and looked around. There was a giant abyss in front of them. The hole was miles long.
What is this?
It was a landing pad for a ship.
A ship?
Not from this world.
This is what Patrick must have saw. This is what he came across.
He activated it. Him and Sarah Dunn left to escape the wreckage. But if they stayed longer, they could have discovered more.
Greg noticed that John was becoming more coherent since they entered the wreckage.
We must go lower.
Into this abyss I just almost fell through?
We must go. They are demanding it.
Marika, John, and Greg climbed their way down to the bottom of the abyss.
Where do we go from here?
There.
John pointed to a particular direction in the darkness.
Just straight, straight.
Greg walked straight ahead. He had no idea where he was walking towards since he couldn't see ahead of him. Suddenly, a green light exploded from the darkness. The explosion of light now turned itself into a fire.
Green fire.
The fire grew bigger and bigger.
This is how the ship got here.
What is this?
A portal. They want us to go in.
It's fire.
We have to enter.
Greg and Marika both looked at each other.
Okay.
The fire consumed them. Greg opened his eyes. Greg and Marika braced themselves and walked into the fire. He was in a cave. He looked by his side. Marika and John were there.
Where are we?
They sent us here. They wanted us be here.
Where's here?
The three crawled through the cave. There was a bright light just ahead of them. It was the sun. They reached the end and peeked their heads out. They were in a mountainous terrain.
So the UFO came from here?
No, the portal can take whoever enters anywhere. They control where they go. They sent us here, in Turkey.
The sun was setting.
Let's camp here for the night.
What's the status on the pyramid?
Still moving the limestones from the wreckage.
Still?
A crane collapsed.
A crane?
Yeah, we don't know how either. It was new and functioning properly. It makes no sense that it would collapse the way it did. It wasn't even lifting any limestones when it fell.
What the hell?
It doesn't matter, though. There was an opening in the wreckage.
You opened it?
No, we just found it. We sent men down below.
And?
There is some high technology underneath.
Anything we can use?
Maybe. But there was a giant abyss. We're assuming that's where the craft was. We sent men down to find more about it.
And what about it?
Nothing, just darkness. We sent lights down, but it's just empty space. We also found a wheelchair at the entrance.
John.
You don't have to keep yelling.
Hey, what did we do?
The clones of Patrick and Sarah returned.
What do you want from us? We're clearly not in power of anything. We've been standing in this room, or illusion of a room, for a while now.
Oh well, we might as well tell them. Tell us what?
You don't seem to remember one of the first things we told you when you arrived. We are not actually versions of you. We are higher entities pretending to be you because it's the best way to communicate with you. Our appearance, our language, what you hear, this room, all of your senses. Everything around you is just a way for you to best understand, because you can't handle this higher universe. It's too much for you. Okay, so what?
So if we aren't you, then why did you believe that we are previous versions of you? That we used to be you? That we went through the same journey that you two went through? And your job is to get the next versions of you here? The whole idea of us trying to use you to get us to the next level is just a ruse. We're just keeping you here until our mission is complete. What are you talking about? What mission?
When you unlocked the pyramids and activated our spacecraft, you unleashed something that hasn't been unleashed since the Earth began. When the only living thing on Earth were single-celled organisms. We wanted to use you for a host, but considering that human beings have tried to unlock this mystery for tens of thousands of years and you two did it in less than a week, we figure we had bigger plans for you. Originally, one was supposed to be a host and the other was to open up the portals in the cave, but luckily for us, there was a third person who encountered our ship. He became our host and you two were sent to unlock the portals.
That's why John was in the mental institution. His brain is infected. Yes, his cells are slowly turning extraterrestrial. Because his DNA was morphing into ours, we were able to communicate with him directly. It was a lot for his mind to handle, whereas we were only allowed to communicate with you through the dream world.
You see, certain bacteria can only function in a certain environment. When our entities discovered your world, we traveled here not through space as your movies think we do, but through our ship that was used as a portal to different universes. But our DNA, our bacteria, couldn't survive in this world. We weren't compatible. Many of us died almost instantly. The only way we could survive is underground. We build the pyramids for our crafts. We all took cover in an underground city, the Derinkuyu.
What's the Derinkuyu? It's an underground city in Turkey. It could house over 20,000 people.
That's where we build most of our portals. But we feared that your world and ours would merge. We couldn't risk our beings being eliminated because your environment would mix with ours. So we closed it and made it almost impossible to reopen. The only way one could reopen is a random cave in the mountains of Turkey.
So we didn't just open the portal in that cave. We opened all portals. In that cave, we wrote about our short time on Earth, our intentions and what has happened and what's going to happen. We tried to send messages of the language to many people through the dreams, but a lot of them didn't get, because we had no direct communication with them. Only one man did in the 1300s who eventually used those visions to put in a book, the Voynich manuscript, the language of the gods or the aliens.
That cave is responsible for the evolution of man. It's the cave that turned chimpanzees into humans. Your brains doubled in size in the shortest period of time. It's where Jesus resurrected after his death. It's where Muhammad saw his visions. But only those who were chosen can enter and receive our communication. Those who aren't can't handle the experience.
What about the Hagia Sophia? Why were we able to receive messages through there?
Some areas of the Earth has a weaker protection from the frequency of our universe that surrounds your universe, which helps us communicate from the outside world, the Hagia Sophia being one of them. That's why Justinian I built the structure during the Byzantine Empire. He thought the area was holy because he could hear the noises from beyond his world. When you two showed up with the manuscript, we had the ability to rearrange the letters of the book due to the frequency. It led you to the cave to open up the portals. But why? If you can't survive here, then why get us to open it?
We can't survive here, but humans can. We will consume the human bodies until we adapted completely. Then this universe will be ours. John is the first. We sent him to the pyramids so his body can encounter our power that we build. It will give him an extra push to turn over. John is now us. He is now the higher entity, and he cannot be stopped. No human can stop him. And once he enters the Darenkuyu, he will mix his human DNA with the rest of the entities that come through there. How can John become you from going to the pyramids?
The ones who were contacted by us, their connection to our beings are stronger near these portals. That's why we were able to communicate with you directly near the cave. That's why John is transformed into us. And the only ones who can stop them are in a different universe. We're supposed to stop him?
You were. Not everything we told you was a lie.
The world does repeat itself. It has repeated itself many times over. Throughout these times, the world has stopped and started again. There has been many like you. Have you noticed that every mythological story, legend, or religion has many things in common? Good versus evil. A major flood or a cleansing event. Humans interacting with the supernatural. A great sacrifice, and of course the Messiah. The Savior. Redeemer of the world. You saw your carvings in that cave. You two standing in front of the craft.
There's a reason why they all have the same story. You two are the ones that can stop it. But how can you save the world when you're not there?
This time the cycle stops. It won't repeat anymore because there will be no more humans left. Only us.
The Marines were following the agent through the woods. The agent then dropped to one knee.
Ah! What's the matter? Ah, it hurts. I can't.
You can't what? What's going on?
We're nearby. I don't think I can continue on. My brain can't handle this. I have to leave.
No. We treated you medically for you to guide us here.
We are here. We're close anyway. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing. I can't continue.
Get him to be quiet. He's going to give away our position.
Nolan placed his hand over his mouth, but he swatted it away. He was strong. The Marines held him down and started inserting morphine into the agent, but nothing worked.
You can't. We can't. We're not here. We're not here. We're not the chosen. I wasn't chosen to see. They were. They were chosen.
Get the morphine in him.
I emptied the bottle into him. H. Huh? Abulafenizo. Abulafenizo.
What the fuck you did that for?
He was going to give away our position.
You just shot a gun. People in fucking Hong Kong know our position now.
It doesn't matter. Let's move forward. He said we were close.
Should we?
What do you mean, should we? We came all this way.
That man was a high intelligence officer. He's not an insane person or else he wouldn't have that job. And he wasn't insane when we met him.
Yeah, he was saying shit like there was something there. They were talking to entities in their head. Except it wasn't in their head, they were actually there, but they couldn't see them.
Regardless, an intelligence officer that is higher ranking than us, talking all that gibberish. He mentioned John Wilton. I know that guy. I saw him at Egypt. He was getting escorted around like a king, and that man said he was also talking to entities in his head and going crazy just like that guy. If they could turn those men crazy, what can they do to us?
Well, fuck it. We're here. We were sent here to find the place. We're soldiers. We're meant to sacrifice ourselves, regardless what it's for. Let's find it.
The men continued on. The forest was thick. The air was thick. There was a feeling that went around the men. None of them addressed it verbally, because they all could sense that they felt it, as if they were all sharing one mind, one consciousness, bending and weaving throughout the motions of the dimension that they were experiencing. It was beginning to be too much. Then it was black. Suddenly, they were inside. They were inside the mountain. A cave. They don't remember how they entered or when. As if time ceased to exist. As if time froze in between their travels and where they were now. They continued their way through this cave. There was a room with ancient writing all over the walls. Nolan scanned through the writings and came across a carving of a spacecraft. But not a normal spacecraft, like in a shape of a UFO, and a man and a woman standing in front of it, like it was confronting the ship.
Nolan, There's a book here.
Nolan grabbed the book from his fellow Marine and looked through it. He looked at the book and then at the walls. It's the same writing. There was a whisper. He looked at the book again. The letters were now moving around to form a single word. Repeat.
Repeat.
Abulafinizo.
Abulafinizo.
A green light was ignited. The force of it blew the Marines off their feet. There was a large fire that was consuming the room. The men were screaming in pain from the fire. It was painful. Too much pain for one to handle. Too much for a human to experience. Then, suddenly it stopped. The fire was gone. The men were still alive in this ancient room. Nolan got to his feet and looked at where the fire emerged from. The fire was gone, but something else had took its place. A man and a woman, Patrick and Sarah. Greg couldn't sleep. He tried to close his eyes and get himself in the mood, but after what he's been through, he simply couldn't do it. He's been kidnapped, shot a man, hid from the government, and now he's just traveled through a portal transported him to another country. All of this from following an old man in a wheelchair. Greg then realized something. He left his wheelchair in the pyramids so John can be carried by Greg. He then turned over and saw Marika sleeping.
Marika!
Greg started to shake her, but she wasn't responding.
Marika?
He checked her pulse. She was dead. He noticed John wasn't there. He was gone. There wasn't a portal for him to go through. Greg got to his feet and made his way outside the cave into the mountainous terrain. He heard a noise into the depths of the forest. He followed it until it seemed like it was only meters away. He saw John, standing on his feet. His body was moving in an oddly manner, almost non-human-like, as if it was malfunctioning.
John?
He turned around. It was John, but it wasn't him. It was like John was possessed.
Greg, how are you doing?
Your voice, it's back. You're standing again now.
Greg noticed that John looked younger, healthier, and stronger.
What's happening, John?
Nothing. We're just doing what we can. We're just following the voices in my head.
Greg pulled out his gun and pointed it towards John.
Who are you? What's happening?
Why did you think I told John to go to Egypt? Why do you think I guided him towards the pyramids and destroyed that crane to distract the guards? Sure, the portal did lead us to Turkey, which is where I wanted us to go. But you see, the last time John was in Egypt, he encountered our kind, and we decided he was the right man for a host. The bacteria in his brain was alien, hence why it drove him insane. But as our life grew inside his, he started to see us, communicate with us. It wasn't enough. He needed more of us, so I sent him to the place where our energy has been stored for a long time. When we entered the portal, the last remaining part of John died and was replaced with us. John encountered that portal. It was the final push for us to occupy his body. He was fully immersed in our DNA, and now he's us, or we're him, an alien amongst humans, a god amongst men. Soon it will be a lot more of me and less of you. Thanks for guiding John along for the journey, Gregory, but your service is no longer needed.
Greg dropped to the ground. His head was hurting. It was hurting too much. He started screaming, but there was no sound. Slowly, Greg began fading away, like he never existed.
Where are we? Are we back?
Are you Sarah and Patrick?
Yes, who are you?
We're U.S. Marines. You have to come with us.
What's happening?
There's a war going on. They say you have discovered something here. Something that can make you godlike.
Even though Sarah and Patrick were now back in their world, they felt different, as if they had a sixth sense. They knew the words coming from the Marine that was speaking to them before he said them. They could feel a more attachment to the world around them. They can almost see the code behind the reality. They felt like higher entities.
What did you find?
Patrick and Sarah could sense something was close. In these woods, that was important. John.
We have to go.
No, you're important.
Your boss is told to look for us because we could lead you into a place that could give your nation infinite power. We just came from that place. If we have godlike knowledge, then maybe you should listen to us.
There is someone in these woods that have to be stopped. They're close.
How do you know?
Just trust us.
The group snuck out the cave. The sun was rising.
We gotta get out of here quick. The hostiles might see us.
Sarah and Patrick were leading the way. Even though they didn't have a map or a pinpoint location of John, they knew where to go, which direction to take. Sarah and Patrick's mind were in sync, as if they were sharing the same brain.
What did you see in there?
We came across a room with other versions of ourselves, but they were just the entities.
Like the aliens? What did they say?
They said John has become them. They infected him and is using him to produce more entities to come to this Earth using portals that we opened.
Is that it? You didn't see what the other universe is like?
We did.
And?
I can't describe it.
Why?
I just can't. You just have to witness it yourself.
He's close.
We should split up. It'll increase the chances of us killing him. We'll split up in groups of 3. Nolan, you go with Patrick and Sarah.
We shouldn't do that.
I'm captain of this platoon. I think I know what I'm doing.
It's going to go bad. We can tell it's not going to go the way you want.
What? You guys developed some sixth sense in there? Last I checked, we're the ones with the guns. We'll split up.
Nolan, Patrick, and Sarah were making their way through the area.
He's here. Somewhere he is here.
They were screams coming from nearby. The 3 ran towards the noise. They found the 2 Marines dead without a scratch on them.
How could he?
The remaining soldiers arrived.
I don't know, but they're dead. There's no damage on any of the bodies.
Patrick saw John standing in front of him and Sarah. But it wasn't John. It wasn't a human body. It was a mist. Smoke. A cloud of bacteria that was not of this reality.
Hello, Patrick. Sarah.
He's right there.
Where? Where is he?
The Marines pointed their weapons but couldn't see the entity, despite standing right in front of them.
I see you escaped. Should I show myself to your fellow humans?
How come only we can see you?
Where's John? Who are you talking to?
You know why? The portal. You and Sarah have a feel for the world now. You can see beyond the reality that you live in. You can see in the universe that surrounds yours. Just like John. You are operating at a higher level than your fellow humans. It's almost as if you're not human anymore. It doesn't matter now. Whatever you inherit isn't enough to stop me. Your kind can't stop me. Here, I'll show you. Let me enter your world.
The entity now formed himself into John, directly in front of the soldiers.
There he is! Fire!
The Marines all opened fire on John, but the bullets just went straight through him without impact. Suddenly, the soldiers all dropped to the ground, fading into the wind. John turned to Patrick and Sarah to do the same. But nothing happened. John was shocked. He tried again to kill the 2, but couldn't. Before anyone could react, a drone hovered nearby. Missiles striked were now landing in the area. Patrick noticed that John was gone.
Where did he go?
I think he transported somewhere.
He's going to the Darankuyu.
The missiles weren't stopping. A helicopter was now hovering above them, firing bullets in their direction. Sarah and Patrick took cover. The missiles, the gunfire, the soldiers approaching the area. It was all coming down on them.
We have to go after John.
Sarah noticed a tree that was falling, on the verge of collapsing on Patrick.
Patrick!
Patrick fell to the ground and took cover from the tree that was coming down on him, but it didn't. He looked up. The tree was hovering in midair. The bullets, the explosions, everything was still. Time had stopped once again. But it wasn't the entities that were stopping time. It was Sarah and Patrick. Hundreds of foreign soldiers arrived towards the scene to capture them, but they all stopped in amazement of what they were seeing. They both got to their feet. They looked around and examined the area around them. It was all still, like a movie put on pause. Even the soldiers that were nearby. They held the powers of the higher entities. They were like the higher entities. They were gods. Sarah and Patrick walked out the area and through the crowds of soldiers. They didn't draw their weapons or show any kind of threat towards the 2. In complete bewilderment, they moved out their way and let them pass through. John made his way to the Darankuyu. He finally arrived near the deepest tunnel of the city. He touched the walls. The green fire emerged. It emerged not only in the tunnel that John was in, but in all tunnels of the underground city. John began chanting in the ancient language of this kind. The language from the Voynich manuscript, the the scriptures on the wall, the writings in the pyramids. The alien language that created these tunnels and that are now calling on the beings to travel through the portals into John. The bacteria flowed through John, within John, and was birthed out to become a clone of himself. Multiple versions of himself. The alien bacteria has now found its host and has created many versions of it. Through the underground city, now ready to come to the surface of the earth.
Why didn't we tell them?
Tell who?
The soldiers that were there to capture us. Why didn't we tell them to follow us to stop John?
They can't stop John. He's a god amongst humans. The ability he contains there is no one on Earth that can stop him. No machine on Earth that can stop him. The only thing that can stop him is his own kind.
Us.
Right. Us. We're the only ones that can stop him. But I don't know if we can stop all of them. More and more of them will come and invade.
Maybe there is a way to prevent it.
How can we do that?
Remember when we made it to Istanbul? And we discussed how the most complicated questions have the most simplest answers. We concluded that the most simple answer is nothing. Reality is really nothing, which means the world around is created by our minds, because we cannot handle the concept of nothing, which would make us gods.
So you're saying that now that we have the abilities of these higher entities or gods, that now we can create this world around us. We can manipulate it in a way where we can stop the other entities from taking over.
Or prevent it. If we have the same powers of the entities, then that must mean we can also move outside this universe, into the one that surrounds us.
We have to be careful. The universe around us might not be just a physical world in which those in this reality can't see. Time would be different. It probably wouldn't even exist. The concepts of this universe could be too much to handle, just like when we first entered the portal.
Maybe, but just like in the portal, our brains will give us the reality in which we can best function in.
How are we going to enter it?
John, or the entity that took over John, could do it at will. Perhaps we could too. We just need to believe it.
Sarah and Patrick both closed their eyes and demanded themselves to emerge in the universe around them. They opened their eyes. There's no light at first, only pressure, like thought itself has weight. Slow unraveling of darkness reveals a universe stitched into the edges of their own reality. Not space, not time, but something older, pulsing beneath the skin of existence. Galaxies float like memories. Nebulas drift as if inhaling and exhaling. Stars blink, not with fire, but with awareness. Then it retracted. The wonders of this world began to fade and transition into the reality that they knew. But even though they were in their reality, they could see the code behind it. The systems that organized it and the engines that were keeping it function. No different than seeing an X-ray of the human body, seeing how each area of it works so well with each other to keep the being alive, the way you see the anatomy of a car with the battery, engine, spark plug, tires, metal, every minute detail, every substance that works together to make it work. Sarah and Patrick were seeing, feeling, hearing. But most of all, they understood it, and they knew how to use it. But this wasn't the only reality. They now had infinite knowledge, and they knew that there were infinite realities. They make a change in the system. A new reality will be created as a result, while the other keeps moving. Now that they entered this universe, the reality in which they didn't enter was now continuing. Sarah and Patrick observed that world. The result ended in the destruction of the human race. The entities formed into their world. Their bacteria mutated and adapted to the world around them. The only humans that existed were only used for experimentation, just like all tomorrows. They knew they had to go back in time before Egypt. They had to prevent themselves from meeting. They had to prevent the opening of the pyramids. But they couldn't go further than that. They realized that the furthest they can travel back is the time they were originally contacted by the entities by spacecraft. They couldn't prevent the events in Egypt. They tried to manipulate the code to crash John's helicopter, killing him before the entities could take over, but couldn't. It was being prevented. They realized that they weren't the only ones in this universe that were manipulating the current world. They saw the black mist everywhere. It surrounded John in the helicopter. In the eyes of John's world, he couldn't see anything. But in the eyes of the universe, from Patrick and Sarah's perspective, they saw the black mist enter through him. They saw themselves witnessing the time stopping while the ship was hovering above them. They saw a light that the ship was sending towards themselves in the desert. They couldn't stop it. They weren't powerful enough in this universe to compete with the entities. They traveled ahead of time. Where John was at the mental institution, they observed what was taking place. They saw him living home with his niece. They saw government agents kidnap him and do experiments on him, but the results were the same. John led them to the portal in Egypt where the alien cells inside him took over, completing the process, killing the agents and unlocking the rest of the portals. They had to contact John. Because John was exposed to the ship, they could communicate with him directly. They made contact with him in the house before the agents came. They told him about the listening device in the clock. They told him that agents would come. John survived with his niece and Greg, but they ended up in the same place. They couldn't access John's brain past that point. It was too consumed by the entities. He killed Greg and Marika and went back to the Derinkuyu. It didn't matter what they said to John in his brain, they couldn't get through to him. The results ended the same. Every decision they made, it all ended the same. Everything ended the same. They couldn't stop the results. They were too powerless in this universe compared to the ones who live in this universe that they were competing with. There was only one way they could prevent it from happening. It was the only reality that they observed that saved the human race. Sarah and Patrick traveled to the U.S. headquarters and emerged themselves back in their original reality in front of the heads of state. The entities were roaming through the woods. They were eliminating all helicopters, aircraft, tanks of all countries. No amount of missiles could get to them. No bullets could penetrate them. The entities were shooting lightning from the skies and tornadoes to wipe out the cities of the world. They were transporting from country to country, eliminating each area from manipulating the code that created it. There was nothing humanity could do to stop it. It was gods amongst men. The heads of state were panicking.
What the fuck is happening? Who are these things? Why the hell are they destroying this fucking planet?
We should focus on John.
Fuck John. The planet is burning. I was just ordering my men to fire rockets at Chinese ships, and now I'm contacting them for assistance.
We should have never came down this route. We should have never went to Egypt. We should have never gone after those two. We should have just left all this alone.
We don't have time to sulk. We gotta do something.
Fuck it. I say nuke them all.
They're everywhere. Plus, they can't be killed. We nuke them. We basically nuke the people without even killing them.
We gotta do something.
Sir, we have something for you.
A gun to blow my own brains out?
No, Patrick O'Brien and Sarah Dunn. They would like to speak to you.
Sarah and Patrick marched through the door in front of all the powerful men.
We have something to show you.
Sarah and Patrick transported the information telepathically that they knew to the men in front of them. The men were stunned. They received the information and understood it, but were in disbelief.
So it's true. We had the ability to become gods. All those empires throughout history. They knew it to be true. They were looking for what you discovered, from what you came across.
Yes, but in the meantime, it unlocked the portal through hell, in which all these entities are traveling through, cloning themselves with John's body. So their DNA can survive in this world.
You have the power to stop them, though, if you have their abilities.
They are too powerful. That is their universe. We can't compete with them head to head. We can't compete with them in our own universe head to head because there is too many of them.
So we can't stop them.
We can. There is only one option. Gather up your best scientists, your most important lab, and bring it to your biggest bunker in any mountain. Bring as many civilians as you can. Make sure they are fertile.
What are you going to do?
The only reality that was best for the human race is this one. We end the world. We kill off all the entities.
And the humans?
No. Keep them underground. They'll restart civilization. Tell all the heads of state. Grab as many civilians as they can.
You can't end the world.
We have no choice. You know what the other option is. We end the world. Civilization will start again and humanity won't have to deal with this crisis until the next time. It all repeats itself. Good versus evil. The great sacrifice, the saviors, and the flood. The reason why every ancient legend has these stories is because it's what happens. The cycle never stops. It always repeats.
Abu le finizo. It all just repeats itself.
Gather all the people you can. Tell the other countries to do the same. Once that's finished, nuke the Arctic, nuke the glaciers. The Great Flood will come again.
Sarah and Patrick emerged themselves back in the other universe. They knew they couldn't edit the world where the entities were present, but they could edit the world where the entities were not. They traveled to Antarctica and the North Pole. No entities were present. No black mists were there. It was the most undesired place for them since no humans were present there. They manipulated the weather. They dropped the temperature to -200 in the region. They increased the height of the ice by 7 miles and the depths of it by 10. They created a new ice age and spread it far south as they can go. Then they waited. They waited for the heads of state to act. Suddenly, nuclear missiles from all countries flew through space and crashed into the ice. In the South Pole to the North Pole, the ice melted and the flood began. It consumed every major city, every major country. The civilians were wiped away, as well as the entities on Earth. The apocalypse had taken place. Long after the aftermath of the flood, the survivors came out of the caves in the mountains. They survived. But civilization, as they knew it, didn't. They began to roam through the landscape. One of these survivors were the men that met Patrick and Sarah when they revealed everything to them. The two people that saved humanity with the ultimate sacrifice. All generations had to know about them, he thought. Gods amongst humans. But gods who were human, loved humans, and who will love it again at the end of the next cycle. He traveled back to the cave and got a chisel. In commemorating them, he chiseled out the image of a man and a woman standing in front of the spacecraft in Egypt.